Yo, 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 yo. Y'all know what time it is. What up, Comic Sense community, crowd, crew? Once again, we're back in the building with another episode of CSP. That is Comic Sensory Perception. And boy, are we going to get into it. But before we do, we got a special guest today. Listen, this is going to be a great one. There's going to be some people in their feelings today. I'm telling you. It's going to be some people in their feelings. I'm talking to you. I want you to come on. If you got something to say it. You know what we do. We're going to address your comments. We're going to put everything up on the screen, all of that. But before we do that, we want to keep these lights on. So then I'm going to need you to like and follow Comic Sense on Facebook and join our Comic Sense Facebook group. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us on Instagram. I think it's called X now. We're on X. Not the Twitter, all of that. So do that. We have a page, we have a group. Do that. Special guest today. I couldn't think of anyone else I wanted to talk to for the show. And y'all saw the name of the show, right? FOMO, the market, and gatekeeper collectors, in parentheses. Couldn't think of anyone else I wanted to talk to. This is a person in a very short period of time, I've developed a high degree of respect for in this community. His name is Cesar D. Morales. He is one half of a dynamic team on the Comic Menu podcast, along with Del Guzman. Listen, Comic Menu podcast at 29K followers on their pages. You need to push that up to 30K. You need to be the one to push it up to 30K. They're just celebrating their 1-year anniversary yesterday. This is amazing. They do a live show every Wednesday. They have different various guests on their podcast. I have had the pleasure to have been a guest as well. This is a very awesome guy. We're talking about FOMO, and I FOMO'd a book recently. And this guy went out of his way to help me acquire this book. I actually ended up acquiring it myself, but it was not for Caesar's. Listen, he put in some effort. He came at me. He was hitting me up, talking to his people, various minions, underlings in the underworld. He was making it happen for me. It was going to happen. If I didn't do it, it was going to happen because Caesar was on the case. Really appreciate this person. Make sure y'all follow the Comic Menu. I'm going to introduce him now. We're going to get to it. I also want to say, and I have to say this because I am going to express some opinions. Boy, they don't let issue act. I got my own platform. So anytime I feel some type of way, y'all know I haven't done it in a while. Y'all know community. I haven't done it in a while. But I'm here to talk. I'm here to educate, and I'm here to be educated. And I have my own platform, and I'm going to say some things. And I want to make sure that those watching in YouTube land know, those watching in Facebook land know that my opinions do not reflect the opinions of Cesar D. Morales, the Comic Menu podcast. They do not reflect the opinions of the Comic Sense crew or the greater Comic Sense community crowd crew. These are the opinions of Issue X and Issue X alone. Those who agree, by all means. Those who disagree, take me to task. Now then, and without further ado, I give you the Cesar D. Morales.
Wow, that's quite the intro. I feel like a god. This is you just saw me yesterday on the Comic Menu podcast. We did our 1-year anniversary, and Ish hit me up this morning. He said, "Hey, I got a shit to talk about," and I said, "Yeah." And he told me what it was, and I said, "Oh, I'm your guy because yeah, we're gonna get into it. As Ish said, there might be some tears." So we're gonna we're gonna make some of you mofo's cry because I, in many people's eyes, I'm a hated man, not because of my personality, but because what I do in this comic room when it comes to the community.
Oh,
So
don't give it away just yet.
let's do it.
Don't give it away just yet.
I'm
First
not
of all,
kidding.
shout out to Comic Uprising, Peter Maresca, everyone that's in the room. Share it up. Go to YouTube, like, go to Facebook, like, thumbs up, thumbs down, do something, don't do nothing. That having been said, we're going to start it out. And I like how he said some of you mofos, because if you check the description, I put FOMO in the FOMOFOs. And I should have wrote FEAUX, mofos, for fake. And before we get into the most important topic, I want to talk about FOMO. And I want to talk about this negative connotation, in my opinion, that is put on the word FOMO. Now understand it. FOMO, fear of missing out. There's a great negative connotation. It is an overarching negative connotation placed on this acronym, which has become a word. And you see Many people in this community who have platforms or who have voices speak against, well, we don't want to FOMO. We don't want. Who doesn't FOMO? What kid didn't want to miss out on their favorite toy? What kid who collected a comic book didn't want to miss out on the next issue to see what happened to their favorite character? What part of collecting, what part of pop culture excludes FOMO? As a matter of fact, FOMO and fear of missing out, from a market perspective, greatly contributes to keeping this market afloat. A dying market, by the way, as far as paper goes, greatly contributes to keeping this market afloat. It's the reason why we go see the movies.
Mhm.
It's the reason why we do all of these things, because we don't want to miss out.
Mhm.
This is what it is. Thank you, Comic Uprising. There is no collecting without FOMO. There are levels to it. There are degrees to it.
Mhm.
Certainly, it can be responsible for some things that some people might consider negative. But overall, when you use this term to disparage someone who decided they want to spend whatever they choose to spend out of their own pocket with their hard-earned money, or trade whatever to acquire a book, and you disparage them under the guise of FOMO, it's oxymoronic. And you, my friend, are a FOMOFO. That having been said, Cesar, I want you to speak on that. I want to hear what you think about that.
And when I got back into this hobby in 2018, 2019, I was that fool. I was the guy who fell into the FOMO. Every single thing that popped up with fucking Chevy Chase casted as the Hulk, I got try to get all the Hulk books. You know, so and so was casted, and I got all the books. And then something happened. There was a click in my mind when I started noticing that movies and the FOMO were not moving books.
Mm-mm.
There was a time in the 2022 and 23 where, oh, so and so's casted, and all of a sudden no one's really rushing out to get that book anymore. It's movies stopped with the meter of the FOMO, and people who buy the FOMOs are two types: the ones who want to capitalize
Mm-hmm.
on, I'm going to make 10 extra bucks because I bought it for $10 less. I'm going to flip it. Right
Mm-hmm.
away, you get other flippers. Then you have the ones who just don't want to be that guy who says, I have that book
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to hold on to it. And then they hold on to it and they hold on to it and now they can't give it away. And there's probably tons of people I'm talking to who have a long box of FOMO. They might as well just name it FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
I have a FOMO short
My FOMO
box,
box.
a FOMO box of just everything I kept too long. And that's one of the problems. It died after WandaVision, as he's, it's people, bell bottoms were a thing and then it disappeared and they came back and then disappeared. People wanted the smallest phone, then they got big, then they got small again, now they're getting big. It's an ebb and flow. And the society that we live in is a society of FOMO. What's up, Alex? It's a society.
What up, Alex?
We are a society of FOMO.
Mm.
This should be a Gen FOMO instead of Gen X and Gen Z, millennials, alphas, whatever the hell is coming up. There should be a Gen FOMO because that's what we are. And is that just comic books? It's everything.
Everything. The
Cars,
markets are driven by FOMO.
Cars. I got to have that Tesla. Wait a minute. I got to have that new cologne. I got to have that outfit. I got to have that new purse. I got to have the new wallet. I got to have.
Now, it's interesting, right? Because you mentioned something in this, and I said earlier that there are levels to it, right? And you spoke about a type of FOMO that is very specific to an event, or not even event, a phase that took place between, I will say, 2000 and mid 2000s to
Sure.
present day, right? The movie phase,
Mm-hmm.
right? That specific type of FOMO, which can be very negative, right? Which had people buying books
Yep.
specifically because key collector or some comic info site
Mm-hmm.
name drop someone is being cast in this role or that role,
Mm-hmm.
what have you, and people rush the market to get the book. And again, when we talk about market trends, something that we've always talked about in comics since identifying a trend before it becomes a trend, you also have to know when to move, certain things like that. But that's just a whole different topic.
Yep.
But that type of FOMO was prevalent, and it's interesting because many people take that type of FOMO and they make it overarching FOMO, right? Like they make it this, and we'll talk about it. Ultimate Spider-Man #1 FOMO book, right? Tosin Adoye, Black Panther #3 FOMO book, and
Spider
then
Boy.
Spider Boy FOMO book. This is what they listen. Listen, the market doesn't work. And again, I want to make sure people understand that my opinions are my opinions. My opinions are my opinions. So and I want to use an example because before we get to it, I FOMO'd this book.
But that's a different FOMO, though.
No. But there's a reason why I know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
man.
know,
Yeah.
but there's a
Yep.
reason why I FOMO this book. Not because of any movie. I'm never gonna sell this book.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Never gonna sell this book.
Mm-hmm.
I FOMO'd it because the market was pushing this book out of my reach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's different. Yep. Yep.
And I needed to make a move on the book that contains the first appearance of my favorite character of all time. So, and we're going to talk about collecting habits. We're going to do that. That's going to be the big block. So we're going to do that at the end. We're going to talk about gatekeeper collecting. And we're going to talk about collecting habits. And a lot of this overlaps. So what I wanted to mention, though, about the market for those who are watching. When we talk about the market, right, and we talk about FOMO books, and I'm going to use Ultimate Spider-Man #1 as an example, obviously, because I don't know if you know this or not, I unveiled 399s of that book about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, we sent in 46 copies to CGC. 3 of them came back 99, 43 of them came back 98. So, we did a video, we unveiled them. When we unveiled them, there was a lot of people, oh, it's fake. It's a FOMO book.
Yep.
Collecting ruined. The value of the book isn't the value. Same thing with Black Panther #3, the first appearance of Tosin Adoye. Oh, it's going to be in dollar bins. It'll end up in a dollar bin, in a year or what have you. It's not in a dollar bin. And I don't know. I don't profess to be a market analyst. I pay attention to things. I pay attention to how markets work. You can take that for any market. The fruit market.
Yeah.
The candy market at the corner store, right? The nicotine market.
Right.
So markets work based upon supply, demand, and what people are willing to pay for a thing. That's how the market works. If there were, because people, oh, there's tons of this book. If there were tons of a given book, then there would not be a demand. There is no person that can just say, I'm going to sell this book for $50 and everyone's going to buy it for $50. And there's 1,000 copies at your local comic shop. You name a book. Any book you name. We've watched this market. I've watched this market for 40 years. I have never seen a book that was overwhelmingly. X-Men #1 had 7 million copies. X-Men #1 is a $5 book.
Oh, the new
the 90s book.
The Jim Lee one.
Yeah, the X-Force, same thing. There has never been an instance where there has been an with the exception of Amazing Spider-Man 300 and New Mutants 98. Those are exceptions because those things are everywhere.
Right.
There's tons of copies. But with those exceptions, there's never been a book where you have. So if there's 4,000 comic shops in the United States, roughly, and all 4,000 of them ordered 500 copies of Miles Morales or Ultimate Spider-Man #1 to get the 1 in 500. That means there are 2 million copies in circulation.
Sure.
Not even including the copies in print. Highly unrealistic. But if there were 2 million copies, right, the book wouldn't be $180.98.
Right.
The book wouldn't be a $70, $80 raw book. The market just doesn't work like that. No matter how many people want to get on and say, oh, You're just inflating the price. Everybody can't inflate the price because people aren't stupid.
Mhm.
They're just not stupid. If there was enough supply to meet demand, it's a $5 book.
Yep.
Point blank. Sorry, I just wanted to clear that up because I see these conversations. And it seems to me that the people who are saying these things, first of all, there's no way that they have any idea what the numbers are because Marvel doesn't release them. If they're not retailers, they don't even have an idea on, they have no idea on what quantities people ordered. And it seems to me the people who say these things, sometimes Key Collector will say it whenever Key Collector doesn't cover a book, and then that book happens to be doing well on the unfair market. Key Collector will then come on and they'll post it, but they'll say a disclaimer, something like, we can't confirm if this is real or the numbers are inflated or whatever. But it seems to be people who didn't get the book. And then they show up and hate because somebody decided they wanted to pay $50. Listen, do what you want to do with your money.
I've been saying this shit forever. It's not your money. It's one thing if that fool had access to your bank account and took out $50 to pay for a book, then you could be upset. But the fact that it's not your money, who cares how they spend it, on what they spend it, when they spend it? It doesn't matter. It's the same way where all these people who get so upset when a MCU movie does bad, they act as if they put in their own life savings to produce this movie and it tanked, and they're like, now I'm in the red, I'm ruined, my life is ruined. No, it has nothing to do with your money. It has nothing to do, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But you're already unliking a movie just by 2 minutes of a trailer. It's trash. All right, well then go fucking see it. That's all it is. Who cares? Why do you take it to heart? Why do you take it to heart that it bombed? Who doesn't matter? And this is what causes people stress. It's unwanted stress.
How many movies bombed that I enjoyed?
I don't. Oh my! You know how many movies I've enjoyed that people say don't watch? And if I would have listened to them, I would have lost out on the movie that I really enjoyed. I always use Sucker Punch as an example.
Right.
Oh, Sucker Punch.
I like Sucker Punch.
I like Sucker Punch, but I'm a Snyder fan, but I'm a little biased. But regardless, who cares, people? People are taking comic books. Now, listen, there are a lot of people out there where this comic book thing is their livelihood. They feed their family, they feed their kids, everybody, because they rely on the market, because they flip, they sell, they have an LCS, they have an online store. There you go. I get it. But for the casual guys who flip, who have a full-time job and they flip, come on, guys. It's comic books. Comic books. You do understand that, right? Now, given the take that an 8.5 Action Comics just sold for $6 million,
awesome,
proves that it's not just a goofy adult kids hobby, right?
It's art.
We could get into this, and we're going to get into.
It's a good point.
So you mentioned gatekeepers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned gatekeepers. You want to get into the gatekeepers?
Yeah, I just wanted really quick, and we're gonna get right into that. So, because listen, Caesar's on it, and I'm feeling him, and it's hard because a lot of these topics, these 3 topics that I picked, they overlap. So it's like we're treading that water, even though we're trying to stay away from the water just yet. We about to dive into the deep end. I just wanted to state really quickly because of something that you said too about I'm gonna sum it up. People invest their feelings on a level that, in my opinion, is like, it's too deep. Get out your feelings. If you're going to get on a social media platform or any platform and you're going to disparage somebody because they bought a book that you wouldn't buy, really? Like, how high is your horse?
It's like Trojan horse high.
And then you come out with these bootleg mathematics. Oh, that book is everywhere. My LCS had 30 copies. Your sample size, your anecdotal evidence, that's what it's called. And the follow-up to that is anecdotal evidence is not evidence. But we have evidence. It's right in front of your face. What is the demand for the book? How many copies are available? I used to do it with Journey into Mystery. I used to buy every Journey into Mystery on eBay that was 2.0 or lower. Just buy it. There was never more than 2 pages. Half of those were golden record reprints. It's very easy. That's just one aspect of the market, right? Then I'm speaking about Ultimate Spider-Man, right? You go to CGC, there are 337 copies on the census. We sent in 370 something. We sent in 43. You can count the 9/8. That's CGC graded. You can count them. They're there. Then you go online and you just look for the A cover of Ultimate Spider-Man and you see how many are being circulated. Same with Black Panther #3. How many are being circulated? How many? And then what do you have to pay? It's the cheapest price you have to pay. If you'd have went to Comic Sense, you'd have got it for $85, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, what is the cheapest price the market is giving it to you for? What is the demand? Are people still buying the book? Is it still selling?
I think that's the reason why I kind of stick. I think that's the reason why I don't do modern, unless it's a key. Obviously, because behind me, right, I have the first Miles Morales. That's a pretty big key. That fool's not going anywhere. All right, Spider-Gwen, she's not going anywhere. Those are good keys. Those are good modern keys, right? NYX, somewhere up here. It's over there somewhere. There you go. And the Spidey Noir. And I dig that stuff. I'm fine because it's a key. But First Tosin, oh my gosh, First Tosin. If you want to talk about FOMO and what that book was going at when it first came out.
Especially 9/8, 1 and 25s.
And then now?
$1,500. About $600-700. Not a dollar bin book.
It's definitely not a dollar bin book. But where is it going to keep going up? Or is it going to eventually go down in a few years because nothing's going to ever be made of that character?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because when you have a character like that, at any given time, you take at any given time you take a character like that who somebody can choose to use and use in a way that impacts the community or impacts the medium. Harley Quinn, perfect example, right? Batman Adventures 12. Harley Quinn was a joke. I don't know if you don't read.
No, we're getting there.
Okay, so Harley Quinn was a joke. She was actually a Harley Quinn with the bells on her hat and
yeah. Look what happened.
And then Injustice came out, a video game, and you got the version of Harley Quinn that we all know and love now. And lo and behold, everyone wants Batman Adventures 12. Comic Uprising, perfect example. So was Deadpool. A joke. A joke. And this is a book that there is no shortage of this book running around. There's even a 9/9.
Sure. Well, it's from the 90s. You're not risking. You have a pretty good
80s.
chance. Oh, Deadpool came out what, 91, 90?
80. You might be right. I'm thinking it's Amazing Spider-Man 300. You're right.
No, it's in the 90s. It's a 90s. It's a Liefeld book, right? 90s, right? So
91.
Now let's think about it. If you were, I'll give you a really good example. Huge example. When I collected in the 90s, the worst fucking time to collect any books because everybody and their grandmother had a #1 of something. Right?
With a glow-in-the-dark cover.
Everything. All the gimmicks, the chromium, the foils, all the cool stuff, right? It was just all shiny, but whatever it is. I was picking up every single #1 off the shelves, put them in a sleeve, and put them in a box. If I would have done that with a Deadpool, most likely I would have a 9/9 because I never once cracked it open. Ever.
Right.
No, of course I didn't get it because I'm an idiot.
You didn't read them though.
No, but I got a fucking #1 Brigade. I don't know why. Because it's going to buy my house. It's going to buy my house one day. That's the mentality of a guy in his early 20s recollecting again in the 90s. And I look back now going, well, you're kind of dumb, Cesar, but you're not kind of dumb because if you were smarter, I would have picked up a shitload of Deadpool's #1, shitload of Spawn #1s. And I think that's about it. Maybe Crow. No, the Crow was in the 80s. But you know what I'm saying? It's you're okay. But if you were to have, that's why the Superman, the Action Comics that sold for $6 million. Imagine this, a book from 1938, people, in an 8.5 with one family. It was a pedigree. I think it was a Kansas City family. So that's mind blowing. That's whoever they basically looked at it and then just let it be. They weren't passing it around to their friends. They weren't folding it in their back pocket and riding on their bike and throw it on their bed and have chocolate ice cream all over it. An 8.5 for a book from 1938. And being not only that, but the first Superman is.
You have to imagine the history behind that. Like, what did it go?
If it could talk,
right?
If it,
like, what was it?
If all these books could talk, if all my books, so that's why I like to do Silver, because Silver goes down, which is fine, but doesn't go down like, oh, so I found the first Cesar in the dollar bin book because nobody wants it.
Mm-hmm.
No, that doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. But you will find that with some modern books.
People want 100%. People want the first Cesar.
Hey, I think Cesar's all right, man.
I mean, we're talking Marvel Comics #1.
Listen, guys.
I mean, we're talking $1 million book, but it happens to have Submariner and Human Torch, and you know what I mean. I mean, if we're talking Silver Age, it's X-Men, but it predates that. You know?
There's people who do now. Let's get into gatekeeping, because we could get into it ish.
Yeah, let's do
for
that.
Hours. Let's get into gatekeeping. Oh, gatekeeping! The traditionalists, the purists, the ones who.
Here's the thing with that, because I love that you said traditionalists and purists, because I don't even know what niche that they want to fall into. And again, just to be clear, everyone, we're not talking about gatekeeping in general. We're talking about gatekeeping collectors, those who gatekeep how you collect, why you collect, and why you should. Those people who want to tell you you should. I don't want to cut you off. I just wanted to make that clear.
No,
because I feel some type of way.
The you should, the wagging finger of death, of shame. Oh. It's the bell on Game of Thrones with the shame as they're going to parade me naked down the street. Because as many of you may know, I'm known in this community as the guy who doesn't read. I'm known in this community, in the Facebook community, as a man who's never read one comic in his whole
I'm sorry.
Life.
Can I set this up? I got to set this up.
Set it up.
This is why I brought Cesar on. Where the gatekeepers at? Share. Listen, if y'all encountered some gatekeeper collectors today on any of your social media platforms, share this right now. This is the reason I brought Cesar on. Because I've been going through, I have a community on Facebook, Comic Sense, a major group, really dope. Shout out to the Comic Sense community. Y'all in here sounding off. Make sure y'all go join that. Peep the banner at the bottom of the screen. Have a page, have a community. And in the group, people will come on. People that I respect, people that I like will say, you shouldn't collect comics for investing. You should collect them to read. Or you shouldn't collect comics to read. You should collect them for investing. Or you shouldn't collect comics for this. Or collecting ruined because you got it graded, or collecting ruined because of this or because of that. I have a bunch of people Peter in my community, great contributor to the community. He's in here right now. Peter does not prefer graded books. He would crack an Amazing Fantasy 15. He would crack it out the case.
And I would not shame him for that.
I would feel some type of way. But do you, bruh? Like, really, like, anyway. So I brought on Cesar. Specifically, I thought of him. I even said this to him when we talked on Instagram. I said, Cesar, you don't read. You have one of the dopest Silver Age collections, and they are all slabbed. Tell the people how you ruined collecting for them.
I ruined it, man. I'm the devil. And all those people, as I call them, the comic book guys from The Simpsons, ew. The man does not read. I feel so sorry. because I am a triple threat to all the purists. One, I don't read, never read a book in my life from beginning to end. Never have. Just never cared. Two,
Uh-oh.
I prefer slabbed books all the way down. Okay.
Uh-oh.
And if I have a raw, guess what? I'm going to entomb it. Yes, it's going on Tombstone. It's going on Tombstone. That's right, Peter, James. I'm going to put that on my fucking tombstone. Here lies Cesar Morales, who never read a comic in his life. Beloved husband and father. 3, I already forgot. I don't read. I entomb. Oh, and yeah, I only do silver and everything else. So listen, people, I don't care about. There is no right way of doing things. I had Marat Michaels on my show. I had Marat. We interviewed Marat
awesome.
Michaels, and I told Marat, "Sorry, Marat, but people know I don't do the do you poos. It's not me, and I'm a modern guy. But I will never tell someone, why the fuck do you collect that? You are ruining the comic community." I told Marat, "Don't you know you're evil? Don't you know you're ruining the comic community for what you're doing?" You know?
It's funny, on my page, I posted this. This is that 99. I don't know if y'all can see it.
Yeah, there it is.
99 Ultimate Spider-Man. I posted, someone came on and was like, collecting ruin. I didn't respond because I keep a certain bearing on the business page. I'm not going to be arguing with people or making people feel some type of way on my Comic Sense page. But you know, and I want people to express their opinions. I want people to say how they feel about things. The only thing that I will interject in is when people are being argumentative or disparaging towards other people for their contributions to the community, then I'm going to interject and I want to say something. But if it's something I do, so I posted this, one of the only 399s in existence, all owned by Comic Sense. Immediately collecting ruined. I wanted to say something. Like, how does this ruin collecting for you?
For you. For you. It doesn't ruin it for you.
Right.
How does it ruin it? How does my room and my background in this community of not reading, only slabs, you know, everything else, how does that affect you personally? You should care you should give 2 shits about what I do in my office / comic room.
And you know what it is, Cesar? It's personal. They're in their feelings because there is nothing and there's no argument to me that is valid or sound. None. They're all as weak as the diet water they're founded in. Like weak. That is sound. And I hear them all. I could go down a list of all your arguments of why this ruined collecting. Not for you, for everyone.
For everyone.
Because what you collect.
But
that's the holy grail of how it should be. It's the Sistine Chapel of how it should be collecting.
It's funny because Marat said, "Oh, I know. I've heard that before. That he's ruined, you know, collecting." But I don't shame people for how they collect. Now we all know there's different types of collectors. There's the completionists, the ones who want to own every single ASM from 100 to where the hell number it's at now.
X-Men.
Wants to collect X-Men 1 to where's the rundown now?
It'll be 700.
700.
Legacy 700 in next month.
Okay. Then you have the purists. I don't slab anything. I want everything raw, and I want to be able to open it up. I want to be able to read it. I want to smell the 1960s and put it back in the box. Then you have the ones who want all the do you poos, in which Marat says he's reaching over 3,000 variants. That's crazy.
I'm not with X-Men. My Uncanny X-Men run, I have to have every variant.
There's people, right? And there's ones who have to have every single variant. I wanted to have all the Alex Ross headshot, the timeless, because I think it just looks cool on a fucking wall.
So Jerry Lang, and I wanted to speak to Jerry because I love Jerry Lang. Jerry is a great guy, really a great guy. Know him personally, a creator in the community, and Jerry is a big proponent of reading books. And Jerry is a guy, he'll walk into a shop with a Journey to Mystery 83 that he's in red, and he's gonna read it. Mm-hmm. And he stands on his square on that. Like he's gonna read the book. He doesn't care about any inherent or any future value at all. At all. So I just wanted to post this comment. And I don't necessarily agree, Jerry. I do agree with you. And I do agree with you on paper, so to speak. I don't agree in the sense that, someone who slabs a book may slab it because they don't want to read it.
I
And
slap for
if they
different reasons.
purchase the book, it isn't their responsibility to make sure someone else can read it. If it's their book, if it's their personal book. Now I know none of us can take any of these things with us, but the next man could just crack it.
I slap for a couple reasons. And is there an investment long term in this? Not for me, but for my daughter. She can do whatever the hell she wants with it. When I leave this plane,
Same with mine.
and I go with Odin to Valhalla, my daughter will do what she wants with this. Though I did tell her, don't think I'm just going to leave you all this, because I'm going to leave somebody who's responsible for you and make sure you don't get raked over the coals and says, I'll give you $40 for that book. No. I'm going to leave somebody who's going to be in charge to make sure you don't get ripped off.
Same thing.
Okay.
Same. Everything's annotated because it's all going to my daughter.
It's all going to my daughter.
And I already contact this person. They're going to take care of you.
But I also collect to preserve history.
Hello.
When people walk into my office, this room, when I have parties, it's the only time I have the lights on and all that shit, and they come in with a glass of scotch and we sit down, non-comic people will look at this place and go, this is pretty badass. I like it. Oh yeah, that's from 1963. That's from 1962. And what are these numbers? Well, let me tell you. Well, that means it's in good condition from being a book from 1958. Yes, it is. Because the Kirbys and the Ramitas and all these great artists from the 60s and 70s, they need their work to be in a time capsule for many others to enjoy in my life.
Hello. Listen, I learned something in college. I'm just thinking about what you're saying. So what a lot of collectors and people who want to gatekeep collecting don't understand and don't consider, and this isn't on them because nobody considers this. You never understand the impact of the times that you're living in while you are living in them. You just can't, right? You don't know how it's going to impact. For instance, right? When I went to school, when I was in college, I took a class called The History of Peoples. You know how we learned about the history of peoples? Through the things they left behind. And it was all determined art. Some guy's pot. Some Sumerian's pot wasn't a pot. It's art. It's craftsmanship. Back then, it was a pot. It was the thing we carried water from the river to the yurt or to the hut or to the we carried it in this pot,
right?
That we put we painted little animals on with ash and berries, right? It was a pot. Now it's art, and it's in museums. And we didn't know Andy Warhol's pieces were going to be considered art when he was doing Campbell soup can labels.
Nope,
because you don't understand the impact of the times you're living in while you're living in those times.
That's right.
We didn't know that John Candy and Wayne Gretzky was going to buy Amazing Fantasy 15 and that thing was going to go to the Smithsonian Institute. We didn't know that Captain America was going to become this generation's Mickey Mouse until it happened.
That's right.
And so now some of these things, who knew when we were growing up? Yeah, we thought comics were going to be worth money. Did we think they were going to become art? Did we think that an Action Comics was going to sell for $6 million?
Do you think when he first got that back, whoever bought that in 1938, it's a pedigree, that one person who had it, you think in 1938 he said, I'm going to handle this book delicately because in 2024 it's going to sell for $6 million? No, he just happened to take care of it. You know, all of us growing up, I burned all my Star Wars toys when I was a kid. Why? Because I was a kid and I like burning things, a little pyro. come on.
But what if somebody said to you, you wanted to recreate the Emperor's March and you got 50 stormtroopers and you ruined collecting for me because you set up your 50 stormtroopers and I was only able to I could only get 2 or
it's called jealousy.
Someone else could have had one of those stormtroopers and you just ruined collecting.
That's bullshit. Let me tell you why, because stormtroopers were a dime a dozen back in those days, and it's up to you if you fucking took care of it or not.
Yoda was tough.
With the cape and the cane, that
Yoda
shit
was
fucking tough. Yeah, I know that much. But I will say that the other thing about shit, I lost my train of thought. God damn it. Well, either way, guys.
Listen, when you take your time.
Man, it's just that I get so worked up.
I'm gonna show y'all some stuff while he's. I want to show you some stuff. I want to show you some collecting habits that I have. And I want everyone to tell me that I ruined collecting.
Right? Oh yeah.
So
I already told you. Let's see. You already ruined it.
And I've showed these before. These are my Disney medals. And I'm not doing this to show off.
Okay.
I get every issue of the Disney villain medals.
Okay.
I'm not gonna read them. They come with a certificate. I'm not gonna open them. I'm not gonna read them. I get them because these villains, Scar, Malevolence, they impacted my life.
So now we're talking. Now you're talking nostalgia.
Hold on, I have runs of The Last Unicorn.
Oh,
The Last Unicorn. One of my favorite, most sought after runs of comics. You'll see these on my wall if you come to my room, because this is one of the most important cartoons from my childhood. So I'm never, I don't have these because, and I've read them, but this is a run that I've read. I collect 1986 books. Y'all know I'm doing the Marvel covers because I started collecting in 1986.
See, this goes into the whole thing about nostalgia. Now that we're grown as adults, Peter, trust me, I hurt my heart knowing that I burned these. I burned a Slayer 1 because it was so cool to have it in the air on fire because I'm a effing moron. But I was a kid at the time. I wasn't really paying attention. Now in hindsight, yeah, I'm a complete moron. But nostalgia gets us now as adults, because when we're a kid, we're at the mercy of the parents. And the parent says, that's $7.99. $7.99. I'm not going to buy that for you. You know why?
$20.
Because we're going to eat. We got to
eat.
Right.
$20. I could fill up. You could fill up your gas tank.
You can fill up the gas tank.
$7.99.
We're going to feed 2 of you kids for $7.99. And, we're going to make sure the electricity's on so you stay warm at night. But now that we're adults and we have this money, now we're able to relive the past and buy all this shit we couldn't as a kid at how much of a price? A hell of a lot of a price. Now, are we ruining the collecting market? Because now I want a Masters of the Universe Grayskull Castle at 52 years old, and I'm going to spend whatever money on it? I won't. But if I could, I would. You know why? Because I'm nostalgic. Are you mad at me because I was able to buy it and you weren't, and you are not?
I'll take it a step forward with Ruin Collecting, because I just showed you that 25th anniversary run. And if I have to buy that Care Bears slab because everybody wants to slab the Care Bears, which is a $400 book.
Wow. That's the hardest one.
Cracking it. It's the hardest one. I'll be cracking it right out the slab because I want it raw. This is how finicky I am with it.
But it makes sense. Raw, but it makes sense.
I want it direct market and not newsstand.
But that makes sense because if you have 99 all raws and the 100 is the only one that you have to get slabbed, you're gonna crack it, make it raw. It makes perfect sense.
And I need a direct market because it looks prettier on display.
It looks prettier on display.
Yeah. Even though the newsstands have more value, right? The newsstands have more. The direct market just looks better to me I just want to display it. And I want to post this comment really quick because I wish, Jerry, I should have had you on the show. Jerry, you're making some awesome points. I don't agree. And this is why. You lose me. I wish I would have had you on the show to have your opinion voiced and have you talk with us. The magic is between the covers. If you read, which is what the funny paper strips are. I'm going to stop there. To you, the magic is between the covers, right, Jerry? And that's awesome. But for some people, the magic is just the cover. For some people, the magic is just having the book. And no one is wrong. And that's what's awesome. As long as, Jerry, you're a creator, right? You are a creator. And I'm a creator. I'm a writer, so I get where you're coming from. And Jerry's an awesome creator. I have some of his art. Very awesome creator. He's doing Shokai, a book that he's publishing himself. It's really awesome. He's done some 3D printed toys, the whole nine. Listen, as a creator, we want people to read our stuff and be impacted by it. So I get it. But Jerry, would you be happy if your product was just in the hands of people and they could enjoy it for whatever reason they wanted to enjoy it for, as long as they didn't desecrate your intellectual property?
Right.
Like, what if I just wanted every issue of Shokai to have them displayed on my wall because I love your art and I love the covers?
Right.
Am I wrong? Because that's the way I choose to collect your comic book.
That's right.
Is that not the magic for me that my friend Jerry made this book? You understand what I'm saying? And I love these covers and I want to just hang them on my wall.
Yeah.
I want to have them on display. Or for whatever reason, people find magic for different reasons. Cesar burned his toys.
It fucking sounds stupid after hearing it, but I did.
Think about it. The magic for someone, what's magical for you?
Oh, it was great.
One man's magic might be another man's. Like, I know, Jerry, you don't appreciate. I get it. Like, you'd rather read and you'd rather us read, but and I read. I'm a reader.
Yeah,
I'm a reader first.
And I'm also not a reader, as in like not just comic books, novels. I just never read. I don't know. So people ask me, wait a minute, if you never read, then why do you know so much about comics? I read. I know things because but I never read. When people say, oh, the storyline for so-and-so, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What storyline? I don't know. I wouldn't know who's dead, who's alive, and who's hooking up with who. But what I do know is this cover speaks to me because it's beautiful. You look at this and go, that's a Kirby. That's a Kirby, right? This, to me, is history. And the other shit I get is, I don't display my books. Good for you. I do. You know why? Because they do nothing for me sitting in the closet as I'm in here 8 hours a day working. But when I do look up and I see this wall of goodness, it makes me smile every effing day. And not because it's worth money, because it's mine. And I it's my wallpaper. And it makes me happy. It makes me happy to look up and go, God, that's so cool. I say that to myself. Damn, that's cool. That's cool, man.
Shout out to James Cullen Pollock of Cullen Collects on YouTube and Instagram. I want you to go ahead and check him out. Peep his comment. I just want people to be happy with the hobby. We need more ways to expand it, not close it off. And that is what this is about. And I think that for all of the people that want to gatekeep the way you collect, we're forgetting that if people aren't collecting, that ruins your ability to collect.
Yeah.
That's what ruins it. If people aren't collecting, dictating how people should collect, or collecting in the way that you think they should collect, like, come on. You trying to chase people away? Comic stores are already going away of the dodo.
Ooh.
Just check the market. So we need people. We need kids collecting for whatever reason they want to collect. Yeah. Whatever the reason may be. It starts off reading. If it's for investing, if it's for, I like to draw these characters and I'm going to ruin the book. If it's, I'm going to go get them all slabbed. Mm-hmm. So let people collect for the reasons they choose to collect. Let people. I want people as a retailer. I want people. I don't even care if you buy from me because I don't have y'all know my lineup. Y'all know what we do. I'm not here to promote that. But as a retailer, it is important for me that people continue to contribute to this community, not just as a retailer, for those who create, for those who are feeding their children, who are paying their bills and keeping their lights on, as writers, as artists, as creators in this community. Listen, we don't want this community to go away. We don't want this medium to disappear. And in order for it to continue to happen, we need people to collect, and we need not to discourage these people for collecting because they don't collect for the reason you think they should. Mm-hmm. I've always said in the common sense community, all collectors are welcome. I encourage you to collect any way you choose to collect. I will never disparage that because I genuinely and altruistically love this medium and I love the community. Genuinely. Which means I want to see, listen, Cesar, we were kids. We didn't get to see Spider-Man on a television screen. We wanted it so bad.
I tell you what, the Spider-Man we did get in the 70s was enough for me at the time. You look at it now, it's cheesy as shit. But at that time, Spider-Man was a shit on TV, crawling the walls and doing his parkour. But at that time, we lived for the time that we're in, right?
Mhm.
So we have to enjoy the time that you're in. And if you watch a movie and go, that movie sucked, but you go, yeah, but think about it. You're actually watching a Thor on the big screen.
Yeah, man.
That does. If you were to tell 8-year-old me one day you're going to see like the Avengers all together, I'd be like, I can't wait enough. I don't have when. Bring it to me now.
Listen,
but
man,
we are
I grew up
so
in the hood.
spoiled. We are spoiled as shit as adults. Think
Listen,
about it.
I grew up in the hood. I wanted nothing more than have an X-Men hat. I was never gonna ride. 9, 10 years old, it's all about peers and you want to be accepted. It was never gonna ride. And now I look around today, everybody and their mother is rocking something that when I was a kid,
Yep.
I wanted to just do. And I'm myself at all times. But we all went through that stage when we're young. Especially you come up a certain way or in certain situations, everybody has their own story. We all went through that phase where we wanted to be cool and we wanted to, if you're the kid with the X-Men hat or what have you, the girl's gonna look at you funny and you want to impress the girl. We all went through that phase. It's just what it is. You go through those growing pains as kids. You come to a certain point in your life where you just come of age and you're like, yo, man, middle finger to the world. I'm just gonna do me. But growing up, I wanted to see these characters on my television screens, on the big screens. I look around and I'm like, yo, am I mad that Susan, who has never read a comic book, has more Captain America Captain America shirts than me?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm supposed to feel some type of way?
Yeah, it doesn't, and that's part of the gatekeeping. And
that's where I'm going.
And if you did feel that way, then shame on you for gatekeeping Susan for having Captain America's shirt, even though she doesn't. Who gives a shit?
Right. Am I upset? Am I upset that Tom is going to the comic shop FOMOing Ultimate Spider-Man #4 because he watched Edge of Spider-Verse? That he wants to get some. This is someone who wasn't walking into the comic shop before he saw Edge of Spider-Verse.
No, yeah. But it got him in?
It got him in the door.
He got him in the door.
He might show up with his kids. And he might get them a copy of Young Justice and a copy of Teen Titans.
I will say, though, I do get a little perturbed to those people that go and buy 40 copies of one book because of a FOMO. Now, that is the fear. That's the fault of the LCS for going, man, sorry, man, you're limited to 2.
I love it.
No, but the reason is that because if that one guy actually is looking forward to that going to LCS, well, if he didn't put in his pool buck, I guess that's on him, right? But if that schmo goes in there wanting to get that book and it says sorry, and he saw the dude just walk out with 80 copies, you're like, well, that sucks.
I love it. I'm not gonna lie, and the reason why is because, and we can talk about this. We can talk about this. First of all, comic book shops need to get with the times, bruh. You need to update your model. You need to update your format. You need to get online. You need to join the 20 comic book shops are still in the early 2000s.
Yeah, they are. You can tell by some of the books still in the window, all sun faded.
So the reason why I love it is this, right? So I developed my model, and as I put up here, shout out to Peter Maresca. Comics just wants the community to win. But our motto was developed because I've worked in comic shops, I've helped comic shops, I've saw comic shops see success where they were failing. Trobes and I, like, we've been on all sides of this, ordering for large communities of people who have pull lists for walk-in traffic. I've ordered for online sales. I've ordered comic books for every type of comic community and environment. So I actually have some insider information on this. And I'm the type of person, I will never charge you for a book more than cover price the day a book comes out. I don't care what the market says. I'm never going to do it.
That's great.
However, and there's this weird spot that comic shop retailers find themselves in, because on the one hand, they don't want the guy who comes in to buy 40 copies, right? I don't want you to buy 40 copies because, you know, my next customer is not going to get it. And you never came here before. I understand that. But that's the same comic shop that 9 out of 10 times is going to pull 20 of those copies. Because they're expecting to see some greater value by selling it to their customers for $10 more a week later. And I've seen this happen. Yeah. And not in all cases, but in many cases. So then in black and white, right? The goal of a business is to sell out of product.
Yeah, so if that dude comes and buys 80 of them, good for you. You made your money, and
you could limit him, because I do believe in customer loyalty. Like, I do know, like, if Cesar collects Spider-Man every week, I'm going to make sure I do it in my stream all the time. I stop the stream and I know somebody collects a certain book. I want to make sure that they get this book. Yeah. And I'll say, you know, one of these copies, I want to make sure this person is able to claim this book, because I know that they collect this book. I do it all the time. So there is that happy balance, that balance you have to find between being loyal. And here's the reason why. Because the most hated customer, and I've never understood this, is the specker. That's the customer that retailers don't want to sell to. And my motto, when me and Trobes first sat down and thought of our business model, we were like, you know what? What's wrong with the specker's money? I'll sell you 10 copies if I can sell you 10 copies.
It's as good as the other guy's money,
it's as
right?
good as anyone else's money. What do you mean you have a problem with someone who never showed up at your shop finding the book that they couldn't find anywhere else? And you're like, nope. You're just a specker. You just want to flip it. Nope. I'm going to say that again. They never walked into your shop before. And when they walk in, they find something they could not find anywhere else. And you say no.
That you're basically, you are removing food off your plate. That's you saying, hold on, no. You know what? I don't want extra peas in my plate. Take that shit away. Hey, peas are peas. If you're hungry, you're gonna eat it. You're not gonna deny food in your mouth for you and the family. You know, it's the old adage. Money is money. Is money is money. It's his money is as good as yours. Unless you rob somebody, then you're like, that's a blood money. But money is money. And you're in the business of making money. So for you to reject somebody for trying to buy your wares, it's kind of silly. I mean, you know what? There's a lot of people out there who hate spec, who hate people like me. You know, hate is a strong word, and I shouldn't use the word hate. People who dislike the way I collect, people who dislike, and a lot of it, believe it or not, is jealousy. A lot of people use hate for jealousy. I don't have that Iron Man whatever. Fuck that guy. Why don't you? Because I can't afford it. The majority of my books I get in payment plans. I don't just drop $1,200 because I actually have $1,200. I found people who work with me to pay off books. That's how I'm able to obtain, if not more than half of this. And you guys have even seen this stuff.
That's an awesome display right there.
Right?
Did you measure that? And
designs? You have fucking no idea, man. You have not. Here you go, guys. This is my top shelf computer.
Are those two giant size?
No, it's just one. So this right here, hold on.
You mean you could have sold me yours?
No, hold on, Ish. Computer, turn me on. Okay.
Oh
All right.
wow.
All right. All this, majority of this shit is on payment plans. No, I got that 6.5 way after you, Ish. Um, I don't have, a lot of us don't have that expendable money to drop a $1,200, $1,300. You have to be creative with how you spend your money and how you spend your books. I also don't buy every single modern. I don't buy every single key. I don't have 44 Tosins.
That
I
was
don't
the
have
third thing. You only collect keys.
I only collect keys. Oh, you're ruining the community by collecting keys. Why? Because I took it away from you first? What? You happen to know the same guy I know? I don't understand. Why do you dislike anybody who collects any way, any shape, any form? I collect keys. And the funny thing is, I have a Wolverine number 1, 8.5 or some shit like that. If I get a 181, I'm going to sell that Wolverine number 1. You know why? Because I collect first appearances. That's the way my mind works. I don't need my Iron Man 1. You know why I have my Iron Man 1? Because I can't afford a TOS 39. But once I do get a TOS 39, I don't want that. I don't need that anymore. It's not his first appearance. It's his first run. But it's not his first appearance. That's how my mind works. And that's why I don't have 400,000 books sitting in someone's warehouse or garage. And they're like, I got to sell this stuff. Or your wife saying, you got to sell your shit. You can't walk into your room. I'm not that guy. That's why I have a room like looks like this that took time and measured and made my own shelves and all that shit and make sure every single book is nice and well on there. Make sure that all this is lit up. You haven't seen my other wall of my art. It's symmetrical because I take pride of how I collect, how I display. And nobody can tell me I am collecting or displaying wrong. F you
At all.
for doing that.
FOMOFOs. FEAUX.
FOMOFOs. Because
FOMOFOs.
listen, overall, when all the smoke is clear, it's not your money, people. And it's not your mind that you're trying to control.
And I just want to speak really quick. Rob made two good points that I want to speak to. One is on the screen. Selling to them can also cost them regulars, so they lose money to gain that little. And then Rob also says, what sucks is when you want a new book and someone ran to all the shops and bought them off.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. The guy who comes in and buys 80 of them because he's going to flip for an extra $10 down the road, and you who really just wants that book to read because you need that book to complete your run, or you're doing a run, or you want to know what's going on the next story.
So here's the thing, right? And this is just what it is, because you just can't please everyone. And speaking from a retailer end, right? I love my customers. I always want to make sure that I can take care of the people who have been showing up week in and week out. But that doesn't mean so it's a balance, right? Because you also want new customers to stay, right? So there's this balance, and this is why I started this topic off with comic shops are going the way of the dodo, because they need to change the way that they operate. They need to come into this quarter part of the 21st century, the tail end of the quarter part. They need to come to this part, right? There are many comic shops who are online. There are many comic shops who are not. For those same people, right? And I'm against the unfair market. So for those same people who run to every comic shop and they're buying stacks of books so that the customer who wants to come get that book can't get that book because it's sold out. The risk is the same when the retailer cuts what they ordered in half and then miraculously has it for $10 or $15 the next week, where they take half of it and they can't sell it to their customer because it goes to CGC. What I generally do, say I want to CGC a book, I generally order over the top. I say I want to send this many to CGC, so I'm going to order over the top. It's generally what I do. That's generally our model. But I want to speak to that I just want to say really quick. So when you're in a situation like that, right? where you have someone who runs to all the shops. This is something I used to say to a comic shop owner. Some of you in this community who are in this room right now know who I'm talking about. I used to say this to a comic shop owner who I helped out for a while. He'd get really upset when he saw people buying comics from other live streams, and I'd be like, "Why?" He'd get mad. He'd loyalty, and they're not loyal. People are loyal to their dollar. People are loyal to getting the best value for their dollar. Period.
100%.
That's what people are loyal to.
If I find a book for $100, just because I'm loyal to you doesn't mean I'm going to spend 180 on you.
People are loyal to getting the best value for their dollar.
That's right.
It is your responsibility to make sure you can give them the best value when and where you can. Doesn't mean that you always can. But if you're operating with a business with the listen, if you own a comic shop, it's because you grew up buying comic shops, which means you were a Wednesday warrior or a Tuesday warrior at the time, or a Thursday warrior, whatever day was new comic book day. Every comic collector makes their rounds. And when I was working in a comic shop, I knew half the people that come into this shop just went to 3 other shops for different reasons.
Right.
Because this one has mostly indie books. Then this one is going to have this book. And I have a pull list over here. Oh, and I want to go get an extra copy of this book. Because there's no one in this community who, if they think a book is going to be hot, there's no person in this room right now who, if they're buying modern books and they think a book isn't going to be hot, they're not going to buy 2. Or they're not going to go to the other shop to get another copy. So then the comic shops have to be able to, and I see comic shops do it all the time. They get online and they tell people, join our Facebook group. We have the hot book coming out this week. Let us know if you want it. Reserve your copy now. It's just that simple. That way, when the person comes in to buy up every copy, he can't. He can only buy what has not been and I see comic shops do this in advance. They post FOC. This is what I mean. There's no reason you should lose customers because somebody bought 50 copies of a book. Not in the internet age. Not when everybody's on social media, and your business should be too. There's no reason. Matter of fact, it's so hard to order as a comic shop. It's so hard. It's the hardest. Listen, it's really hard to order as a comic shop. I've seen videos on YouTube about how hard it is to do FOC, because how do you gauge what the community is going to buy? Do you buy the Miles Morales 1 in 500?
It's a gamble.
Are people going to come in and buy 5? No comic shop outside of Midtown is going to sell 500 copies of a book. Not going to happen.
That's right.
It's not.
It's tough, especially if you want those ratios, right? So you got to spend how many to get that one ratio, and then you're stuck with how many books just because you wanted that one ratio. It's Russian roulette. Actually, it's tough. You're going to spin that revolver and see what happens, because you may hit or you may not.
Listen,
it's tough.
I ordered Venom. I think it was number 35 in 2021 for a comic shop. I tell this story all the time. I ordered Venom number 25 for a comic shop. Adam Rebby probably remembers. Number 35 was the final issue of Venom where Dylan Brock becomes Venom. It's a $10 book. The 1 in 500, the retailer cost on a 1 in 500 was $2,500. That's one book. It's one book. So you can cover the rest of the books. I ordered the 1 in 500. But what I did was I pre-sold the 1 in 500 on eBay for like $2,000. And then there are 13 covers at $10 a cover. I took 13 covers and I pre-sold 13 cover packages for $100, saved everyone $30. We sold 25 of those. So now, but if you're not using the tools available to you, this was a shop. We went on to the live stream. Adam Rebby, he could probably attest to this. We went on to the live stream and we said, hey, this book is coming. It's got 13 covers, $10 a cover. We can give you all 13 covers for $100. So then we pre-sell the 1 in 500 because we have to buy it. We pre-sell the 1 in 500 on eBay for, I don't know, $1,800 to $2,000. There is a profit now. Now you have $2,000 in your pocket.
That's a smart way to do it.
And we gave everyone a value, getting all 13 covers for $100. That's $2,500. That covers the cost of the books.
There you go. Yeah.
This is very simple. I'm probably dropping some jewels here. But that's how a retailer can order a 1 in 500. You have to pre-sell stuff. You have to get on and you have to use the resources available to you. Because no retailer, listen, your local comic shop, if it's not Midtown, if it's not Heritage, your local comic shop cannot sell 500 copies of a given book. It would have to be Ultimate Spider-Man #1 and would have to reach, it would have to be more than cover price before release day.
Yeah.
And there's no way you can know that.
That's right.
No, Midtown, Heritage, these big shops, maybe. But the average shop that you're going to?
Yeah. That's why so many places are cutting down. I mean, they're closing down. I give the sign of the cross to those who just say, hey, I just opened my LCS. It's a lifelong dream. And I'm like, if I had the holy water, I would just pour it on you and say, good luck to you, my friend. I hope you succeed. But you would, it's tough to keep the lights on. I know people, Comic Uprising is a guy who used to have a comic book shop and he couldn't keep the doors open. It's tough. But on a side note, going back to what Rob said, he says he wants this book not because of Sabretooth.
I sold that book. Same grade. Is it 8.0?
It's an 8.0, yeah.
Same grade. You probably got mine.
He wants this book because he just needs to finish his 1 through 15. And I respect that.
Right.
It's like he'll get it for the cheap and he would just crack it open and I don't know.
And that's the key right there, Alex, is that many shops don't know how to order correctly. So, and what I mean by that is, and I was just saying that, like, I've seen videos about how hard it is to do it. FOC has always been easy for me. I don't know why. I know how to order, and in any environment. But the problem is, you're talking business, right? You're talking gauging, first of all, how many boxes of paper you want to store per wattage of light. It's the first thing you should think about. What is my cost to store paper? It's the first thing you should think about. If that's not how you're thinking, you shouldn't have a shop, because that's what it comes down to, right? How much wattage of light am I paying for per square inch?
Right.
To store boxes of paper. Forget any value. First, that's how you have to look at it. Am I willing to pay to store paper? And if I'm not, then how am I going to negotiate the quantity of paper I choose to order? What does my traffic look like? Do I have a pull list? Do I want to sell out or overstock? Undersupplying is better than oversupplying every time. This is simple. This isn't, if you don't have walk-in traffic, then you have to change. So when you talk about pre-orders are tough to do, what we're talking a different business. I don't charge for my pre-sales before I have the book in hand and I'm ready to send it to you, because my customers are dope. Our motto is dope. It took us a while to get to that point. We've shown people that we are credible, that we're consistent. So we don't charge people for our pre-sales until we have the book in hand. But when I was working for a shop, Adam Rebby just asked, is he still open? Yeah, he's not doing comics anymore. He's just doing collectibles. He is still open, but not comics anymore. When I was working for a shop, we pre-sold and then we invoiced. You buy the book, you get an invoice. Then we'll send you the book when it comes in, because shops have an overhead. We pre-sell. My business model is to pre-sell for under my cost. I make up money on the back end.
Sure.
A shop has to pre-sell for over cost,
because they have all that overhead. Online shops, what are they for? Internet storage, if you have maybe a storage unit or whatever it is. But a LCS, you're talking like how many employees, lights. You better damn pick a location that's pretty good.
They just have to make it worth the while to pay more.
Yeah, it makes
1 in 25 is going to cost you $50. You charge them 60, 65.
Yeah.
But you give them a value within that 1 in 25 that makes them worth spending it.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
for every time, everyone who buys one, you make $15. But you got to write that down. You have to invoice. It's just accounting. And I shout out to Avis Korea because it's a perfect point. They are tough, but my whole business model is built on pre-orders and a very small volume of niche books. I only sell spec books. Number ones, first appearances, modern books. We order books every week. Modern spec books. Number one, if I don't sell, you're not going to get every copy of Miles Morales through Comic Sense. You're going to get a number one issue. You're going to get the spec issue. You're going to get the first appearance, first cover appearance. That's what you're going to get. And I order for a fluid live stream. And of course, it takes time. It took me 90 days to figure out how to order for that community. And then as the community grows, I have to look back and assess and reevaluate and figure out how to order for a growing community. But it's not rocket science. The tools are available. As Korea makes an excellent point, though.
We know it's another thing we haven't really touched are and I keep going back to the Do You Poos because it's such a big book. But you can go and talk about the Hardly Thins, the Naughty and Nice books, right? I don't collect any of those. I just Naughty and Nice, and there's people who love it. And guess who else loves it? The people who make the books, because you're spending a lot of money on them. And you want all the collection, you want all the variants, you want every single Naughty Nice books, you want every single this, every single that. Cinderella and the lingerie, fantastic. Power Hour, huge. People love that stuff. But you'll never hear me say on this show or on the Comic Menu on Wednesday nights at 9:15 p.m. Eastern.
Shout that out again, too. Keep shouting that out.
I'm telling you, Comic Menu, 9:15 p.m. Eastern.
30,000 people on their page.
Facebook, Twitch, and the Comic Menu, all one word on YouTube. We've had this fool on. I love having this guy on because he's more knowledgeable than I am.
I appreciate being on too, man. I love when y'all have me.
Oh,
on.
it's you're a blast. But the thing is that you will never hear us, me especially, ever say, "Man, what are you doing? What a waste of money for you to spend on that." I don't give a shit. I really don't. You know what? If it makes you happy, guess what? Buy 20 of them. Send them off to your friends. Give them greeting cards for Christmas. I don't care what you spend money on. I really don't. Not only me, but all of us should not care what you spend, how you collect, you display, you don't display. Oh, the sun's going to ruin all your books. You think I have this thing open 24 hours? You think I have my lights on all the time? I don't. People, don't concern yourselves. They're not your books. Okay? And if for some odd reason my Iron Man gets sun faded for some godforsaken reason, that's on me, man. All right? So let's keep the gatekeepers away because believe it or not, they're slowly dissipating. They're getting older and more curmudgeon.
They're dying.
They're dying out.
Their collections are going to get passed on to people like
us.
Sorry to say it, but
who have different mentalities. Now, I will say that there's another reason why I do what I do when I collect. I recently had a heart attack and I was this close to dying. You think that I knew?
Not yet, buddy. William.
You thought that I knew that I was going to have a heart attack at an airport at the age of 51?
Right.
No.
So glad you're here.
I thank you. And instead, I'm here. And now when I look at my stuff, I look at it differently. I just do. And you're right. I couldn't take this with me. And if I would have just dropped dead, all this automatically goes to my daughter and that's it. But I have so much more to collect to do. There's so much happiness I still have. And that's what you should have, is happiness of collecting whatever the hell makes you happy. And if it's the Do You Poos, the Naughty and Nice, the Tigumverse, the My Little Ponies, or the Last Unicorns, or if you want to collect every single anniversary border of Marvel out there in a direct, knock yourself out. That's what it's all about, people. Because believe it or not, they're still all comic books. And that's what it's all, and that's what we're here for. And that's why we have podcasts like Ish's Comic Sense and my Comic Menu and with Dale Guzman. Dale's great.
That was
Dell's the reason.
awesome.
Dell's the reason why we have the comic menu. He's
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna get
brain
Dell.
behind.
I want to get Dell on as well. But
Oh
this
yeah,
was perfect for you.
yeah.
But I definitely want to get Dell on. I want to come hang out on y'all podcast
Oh
again.
no,
So
we're
keep
doing
me
a
in
lot of things.
mind. Keep me
Oh
in
no,
mind.
no, no. We got a lot of stuff going on. You're gonna be coming on soon as well, and we got a lot of stuff working on. See, just like that. Now my shit's not gonna be sun faded anymore. Computer,
Turn me on.
turn me on.
It's
It's
like
good.
Triple H. Self, am I on?
Yeah.
You don't remember that old school Triple H?
Yep, you know it. So listen, hey Nick. So it is what it is, and this is always a hot topic because there's no right or wrong. That's the funny part. People who believe in gatekeepers think they're right. Let them think they're right. If
No, there's a
that's what,
wrong. The gatekeepers are wrong.
well, I know, but if it makes them feel happy, then let them feel happy.
Listen, what I
It
mean
is,
by they're wrong, listen, you are absolutely, listen, for those who gatekeep collecting, listen, if you say I only collect blue chips and you, man, I'd love that you collect blue chip keys. Show me your stuff. Come to my group and post it.
Mhm.
Where you're wrong is for disparaging someone else for the reasons that they collect. I'll tell you you're wrong. Caesar's too cool. I'm going to tell you you're wrong. If you're going to disparage somebody for collecting for whatever reason they choose to collect, you're wrong. What makes your reason right? Because you say so? Who are you? You are an extreme minority of one. That's just what it is.
Oh, that's a good point, Alex. Do gatekeepers know they're gatekeeping?
Yo, I got to put that up. They
You
don't.
know, they don't because in their
And
mind,
don't tell them they are.
that's right. In their mind, they're right. Because you know why? Comic books are meant to be read and they're meant to be thrown on the couch and passed to a friend. If CGC was around in the 1940s, what would happen to the market now?
We would never see $5 million for action cop. Man, that thing would be 500 million.
That's right. Imagine if CGC came out in the 1950s. Let's just say 50s even. Everybody who has their action comics or the Tech 27s and all that stuff, they would have graded it. It would have stood the test of time. It would change the world. But things happen for a reason at what particular time. And this happened now, so we can enjoy this now. And the market is going to go like this, and it's going to go like this, and it's going to go like this, and everyone's going to get all happy, then they're going to get all sad. Listen, when I see how much these books are now compared to when I paid for them, you want to see someone cry? Fuck yeah. How much is that book now? Holy shit, you know how much I paid for Two Greats Lower? I didn't know back then. Back then I was happy because I was able to make payment plans to get it for $1,800 where now you can get a higher grade for 9. That's just the way it is, man. But what am I gonna do? Not get a book back in those days because one day it's gonna drop and I'm gonna wait. No, you live the moment and you live in the moment. And if you don't, you're gonna fucking die an angry, bitter man, my friends.
So, peeps, we got about 7 minutes.
Yeah,
We got a lot of new people in the stream that people haven't
yeah.
seen. Sure,
Look at that,
certainly people
Tyler.
that Caesar may have seen. So
Yeah,
I want to direct everybody. I'm gonna let I'm gonna let Caesar speak on the Comic Menu podcast. I also want to touch on what y'all keep bringing up. So we're gonna do it really quickly.
what's that?
They keep bringing up Shalabel.
Sure,
So
let's bring it
we'll
real
talk
quick.
on that, but really quick, I want everyone to like and follow Comic Sense on Facebook. I need you to go ahead, and that's the Facebook page. You need to go ahead and join the Facebook group. Check us out on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram as well, issue.x on Instagram. But find us on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, find us on YouTube. Thumbs up, thumb down the video. Say something positive, say something negative. Just don't do nothing. Do something. Don't gatekeep the content. And I am a gatekeeper, Alex. I'm a gatekeeper against people who keep gates on how you should collect because I want people to collect. We call ourselves the Robin Hood of the unfair market. We want people in this community contributing to this community, period. I want you to give your credential. I'm going to let you do that at the end. I'm going to let you have the last word. Let's talk about the Shalabel thing.
Let's talk about the Shellabal thing.
Because it keeps coming up, and we wanted to stay specific, but we're at the end. We got
We
5
talked about
minutes.
this. We talked about this in the comic menu last night about this, and this fell in line with how they want to redo the Pirates of the Caribbean with the female character.
I will do, Nick. Thank you.
That's a whole different animal. But this whole Shellabal thing. Guess what, people? I don't read, right? You guys already know that. But what I do know is Shellabal is now. Correct me, Ish, if I'm correct. If I'm wrong, Shellabal is a female character in the comic books. Am I
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Does she eventually turn into the Herald Galactus?
Never been a hero to Galactus.
Okay. Does the does the news, everything that dropped, does it say Shellabal will be the new Silver Surfer, the Herald of Galactus?
Nope.
Okay. That's it. So what the fuck is everyone worried about? It's Shellabal is a character. It's not like Shellabal is a male and they turned him into a female. It doesn't. It's Shella. It's, oh my god. People don't read. They don't read Shellabal. They don't read. All they see is female, Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer. Boom, boom, boom. Holy shit. Now they're doing that. MCU is going crazy. The MCU, all that bullshit's going on. Read. It doesn't say he is the new Silver Surfer. She's the new Silver Surfer. Shellabal is a character who's a female, casted by a female. I don't understand what the hell's going on.
People are upset because she's the Silver Surfer, so they then take it to she's Silver Surfer, so that means she's going to be the hero to Galactus, and there's no Norrin Rad. She has been a Silver Surfer. She's not the Silver Surfer. Okay. She dates back to Silver Surfer #1, and I love what you said. I love how you pointed that out because people don't know the story yet. And I'm not saying that people don't have a right to be upset if indeed Galactus comes and she's his hero, and I get it. But right now, what I'm more stuck on, are we gonna pretend people read Fantastic Four? Are we gonna pretend people were reading Silver Surfer? Because if you were, Silver Surfer would still have a book. Silver Surfer doesn't have a book.
That is true.
Because the people who are upset weren't reading Silver Surfer. Don't tell me, oh, my beloved, iconic. You ain't read a Silver Surfer book.
That's true.
I'm talking about the majority of people complaining. There's an extreme minority of people who read Silver Surfer. There's an extreme minority of people historically who read Fantastic Four. If you're telling me you're an avid Fantastic Four reader, you've been reading every issue, you're the one. And it might be 5 others, but it is not going to be the majority. If you're telling me that I collect Fantastic Four because it is one of the most valuable books to collect, especially Silver Age, I'll buy that. We was already talking about FOMO and why you collect. I will buy that. But if you tell me that you've been reading every issue of Fantastic Four since you was a kid, I'm going to say, you know what? Stop it. I might believe you because there are some, but they're an extreme minority. An even smaller minority are people who were reading Silver Surfer. Mm-hmm. And yet they want to show up and criticize a casting that wasn't even made for you. And when I say it wasn't made for you, well, you think they're going to make a movie for the 10 people that read Silver Surfer? Really? Have they ever made a movie for the 10 people that played with He-Man? Was that He-Man original Masters of the Universe movie for me or you?
It was for, I don't know who the hell it was, and I was a He-Man fan.
Me.
It's
I had to watch it.
I sure did.
Say that it sucked.
That's right.
Hold on, Peter said Silver Surfer Black, first of all, was the best Silver Surfer story that can be told. That has been told. Probably the best Donny Cates story. Silver Surfer Black was awesome. Was really awesome. And that's the story that anyone is going to cite because we cannot cite many great Silver Surfer stories because ain't nobody read them. And I'm just keeping it real. And as Peter said, FF is very up and down story-wise. Right. Listen, I'm an X-Men fan. Do you think I'm going to be mad if when the first iteration of X-Men comes out in movies, they don't have Scott and Jean and Beast and Angel and Iceman. We're talking about a book that I'm going to sit here and say the same thing. Nobody read the book. It got canceled. It went to reprints. People didn't start reading it until this giant sized book behind me. You think I'm going to complain if the first leader of the X-Men you see is Storm? When I know that the people who are going to come to the, oh, well, Cyclops and he's icon. No, he wasn't. You didn't read it. Nobody read it because it got canceled. Because it sucked. And it went to reprints. This is the truth. Nobody was reading it. And that's my gripe. Like, my gripe is you're going to complain over one, like Cesar said, you didn't read. Because they didn't say she was the Herald of Galactus. They didn't say any of these things. Caesar pointed that out, and he did it brilliantly. And you're complaining about a book that you don't read. And you're claiming to have been a loyal fan. If we were, we would be buying Silver Surfer right now.
Let's also be very honest. As Marvel has been sort of wacky in their movies, you think Disney, Marvel, is going to shoot themselves in the foot and not introduce Norrin Rad's Silver Surfer on the big screen? It would be a movie suicide for them to literally cast her completely as the Silver Surfer. But if that was the case, they would have said Shalabal. They would have left that Shalabal out.
It would just say Silver Surfer.
It was a Silver Surfer.
Man, you're preaching.
And people would be losing their mind. And you know what? Me, I would be like, man, that kind of sucks. But
Me
everyone wants
Me
Norrin Rad. Everyone wants Norrin Rad. And guess what you're going to get? You're going to get Norrin Rad. You're going to get the Silver Surfer we all want.
And the reason why you have to understand marketing. We got Norrin Rad, and he sucked. We got Galactus, and he sucked.
He sucked.
We got the Fantastic Four, and he sucked. Disney cannot do the same. You think they're just going to follow in Fox's footsteps?
Though Fantastic Four 2, the Silver Surfer was the only good thing about that movie. I will admit. That was Doug Jones, who played the Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four 2, was great because it was so cool to see him on the screen.
I don't even remember the movie.
Well, exactly. But all I'm saying is, relax, people. It's not like they announced that Dr. Doom is going to be a female. All right? Let's just relax. It's going to be made. They're going to watch it. It's probably going to be better than anything they've done in the past since probably Fantastic Four 1. Let's just relax. As long as it's better than Roger Corman in Fantastic Four, we're going to be okay.
Okay, so we also have to keep in mind, right, that this Marvel movie universe is not 616 continuity Marvel Comics. It's just not. We've already seen major changes to origins, to storylines in the Marvel movie universe continuity. We've already seen it. We've seen characters appear before other characters. Like if this was the Marvel movie continuity, right? No team would exist before the Fantastic Four.
That is true. That is true. There you go.
We didn't see Daredevil. We didn't see the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, God.
Like, none of these teams would exist before the Fantastic Four.
Correct.
Galactus would have already come to Earth because, according to Marvel's timeline, the first major threat to Earth was Galactus, followed by Kang. Not the other way around.
So, yeah, King first, and then we're going to get Galactus, right? Yeah, come on, people. We take this shit too serious. Like I said, we're getting Marvel movies as adults now. Let's just relax. If you don't want to go watch it, don't fucking go watch it. All right?
I like that.
Right. Ant-Man would have been Hank Pym, not Scott Lang.
Not Scott Lang.
Because they're all over the place. All right? And it's perfectly fine. I'm okay with it as long as I'm entertained for 2 hours and I sit back and I come out of the movie theaters and go, yeah, it was all right.
I mean, we got U.S. Agent before Fantastic Four. We got Falcon as Captain America before Fantastic Four.
Before Fantastic Four. We got a lot of things before Fantastic Four. But I know that we're winding down. So
we are.
Let me tell you guys. The comic menu. We just had our 1-year anniversary last night with Manny Burden and Shannon Kincaid. We have a movie review we do once a month with the two ladies. Fun. We just talk about movies we've never seen and movies that we've seen back in the 1980s. And people love talking about movies. 9:15 Eastern every Wednesday on Facebook, Twitch, and the comic menu, all one word, on YouTube. We have a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, I think we have Nick Sapienza on next week with William Russell. We got a lot of stuff going on. We just added Matthew Lucas as our content guy. Greg Hawes on there. We're going to bring Ish back for maybe another bracket challenge because he loves that shit. And it's fun. We bring a lot of artists in. Like I said, we've had Murat Michaels on. We had Ivan Tao on with Aaron Bartling, Martin Zavala, Anna Zhao. We talked about the whole CGC stuff with the whole Spawn stuff with the AI. Listen, guys, join in, have fun, and that's what it's all about. Remember, there's more to life than comics, but comics is fucking fun. So just enjoy it for what it is. All right.
You just got us struck from YouTube. I'm just kidding, man. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. You good. You good. Listen. The comic menu. Cesar D. Morales, Del Guzman, every Wednesday. It's really late on the East. It's like 9-10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which they're 2 hours ahead. So we're talking like what, 8?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
no,
right here.
I'm 6:36 right now.
And make sure you check out. You see he's pointing at. Check him out. I follow him on Instagram. Really cool. This is a guy that you want to know if you're in this community.
Oh, you want to know me because especially one more thing, Ish, before I forget. If you want reels, promo reels done for your live shows, promotions, whatever it is, and you want a voiceover done with it, hit me up. I'll do a voiceover for your reel and any voice you want. But I normally like to do the movie voice. So in a world, one man will make a reel for you. See? Anytime you want. There you go, guys. So hit me up. Let's talk. Let's make some babies.
Make sure you hit them up. Please hit up the comic menu, their podcast page. Please hit that up. Oh, we're trying to get them to 30K there. I mean, they don't need us to get them there, but get them to 30K. Get them to 30K. Get them to 30K for real. Dope podcast, dope crew of people. So that having been said, we're gonna get up out of here, but you know what I gotta do. I gotta shout out to all of the Comics Sense community crowd and crew that's in the house. Really appreciate y'all, the 3C family. Y'all know what time it is. This has been CSP, Comic Sensory Perception. I'm Issue X. Special guest Cesar D. Morales. We up out of here.
Peace.